Hi, I'm Linda from Escape Trailer, and I am here in beautiful Osoyoos, British Columbia for our annual Escape Trailer Rally. And I am so excited to be here today with our friends, Jim and Sharon, who have traveled all the way from Texas to be here with us. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fine. We had a wonderful pancake breakfast this morning. It was delicious.
Awesome, awesome. I'm so happy to have you here. I've known you for a while now. We've built a couple trailers together. Tell me a little bit about your journey. I know a little bit about it, but tell our viewers a little bit about your journey with Escape.
Well, we started with Escape in 2013 after owning several trailers of other brands, and we found Escapes at a molded fiberglass trailer rally.
Okay.
And started with the 5.0, the single axle. And when Escape improved and came out with the tandem axle, we improved our experience as well with the tandem axle.
Right.
Great trailer. That was a 2016. We took it on a 4-month trip to Maine.
Oh my gosh.
Had a great time. And when we got back home,
We had to talk each other into coming home.
and got back home, and we decided we didn't need a house anymore. We had just retired, so we took a leap of faith. We did think that that tandem axle was a little small for full-time in, but it encouraged us. We bought a 40-foot motorhome, and we spent 5 years on the road.
Wow.
We sold everything, donated things to the church and some needy people, sold the hot rods and all the tools and the guns and all that. We kept a couple guns. You never know.
From Texas. But we traveled 5 years on the road, living on the road. It was great. But then we started having grandbabies, and they needed some assistance. So we moved back to our home south of Houston, Texas, bought a house, lived there for, I don't know, just a few months, I guess, and decided we still had itchy feet.
Right. You needed to travel.
That's right. Get out on the road. And there was no question what we were going to do. We said, we'll buy a tow-behind trailer. And there was no question where we were going to buy it. But since we had such great experience with our previous Escape trailers, went and bought a 21.
And that's when we first met.
Right.
And had it for 18 months. Perfect trailer, no problems. But then you guys kind of encouraged us when you came out with Switch and Hitch. And we said, ooh, we got such a great deal on our 21 from y'all. And we were able to get a little bigger trailer, went up to the 23.
Nice.
That worked with you again.
And it was so fun.
Good
Yeah.
experience. And so now we have a trailer we can be back. It extends our trips a little bit. This one's a 2.5-month trip. And we look forward to doing some trips about that long as we can be gone from the grandbabies. But 2.5 months is good.
That's a long time to be away from them.
No,
Oh, no, it's not.
we do talk to them, FaceTime, and we send them postcards.
They love
From every trip.
From
Every stop, excuse me.
where we are.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome.
It's worked great. So we look forward to doing more of these trips, throughout the year.
So tell us a little bit about your Switch and Hitch experience. What was that? Was that like for you?
It was very pleasant.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we were able to, like I said, you made a very generous offer on our 21.
Well, I know it was in very good shape.
Well, we tried to keep them in very good shape. And we, were able to go up to the 23 and get it configured like we wanted. And y'all actually, we didn't want to drive that 21 up to Chilliwack, although we would have. But I was a little nervous about driving what was going to be your trailer on the road in case something happened. So y'all actually delivered our 23 to our storage unit, to the doorstop, and then picked up our 21 and took it back to Chilliwack.
And the driver that delivered it was a very professional he made the experience very pleasant. He even washed it before he delivered it.
Pre-delivery.
So
Yeah.
he did a very good job.
That's awesome.
So it was really a great experience, and got us what we wanted in a very timely manner. I think this one was actually finished before the projected date.
It was like a month early.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I would have told them to slow down a little. No.
Well, no, it came in September, which, got us where we could go do some traveling before, it got a little bit colder in areas where we could go. So it was a great experience.
So tell me a little bit about this adventure you have going. When did you leave home?
My wife is very, very organized, as has been noted, but we have a itinerary of every campsite, how far, how many miles it is from one point to another, confirmation numbers, everything right here.
Well, we
And
started.
she'll tell, I'll rent her out to you to do this.
We started planning in October and November, and we wanted to come north and west because we had not done north and west a whole lot. We had done southwest, but not northwest in our previous trailer and motorhome experiences. And we do go to Key West, the southernmost point in the United States, pretty frequently. In fact, every trailer that we've owned has been to Key West. And this one will be going probably our next long trip.
Okay.
And the southernmost point. So I was looking through Facebook one day, and there was a post. It was
Southern point.
Not in Escape, but it was a post about the northernmost point in the U.S., which is in Minnesota.
Okay.
And so we said, okay, we've done the southernmost. Let's do the northernmost. And then, of course, we'd have to do westernmost and easternmost.
Okay.
In the continental U.S. So we found them on the map. We said, well, we could do northernmost and westernmost. And then the rally, we got the note
worked out
about the
perfect.
rally. And we said, oh, what an opportunity to come west and north.
Incorporate that into your
Exactly.
adventure.
Right.
Adventure.
So we did the the westernmost, which is Olympic National Park in Washington, walked out to the westernmost point, and we will do the northernmost on our way home. We left April 24th, and we'll be home after we'll be home July 7th.
Nice.
So 2.5 months this trip. The easternmost point we'll save for another trip. That's in Maine.
So that sounds like quite the adventure.
It was.
So what kind of advice would you give to people who are maybe thinking of taking on an adventure like that themselves?
Organization is the key. There's a phrase we've learned from the motorhome, and less is more. You don't need to carry lots and lots of stuff. And the stuff you do carry, you need to be able to use it and get to it quickly, or it gets to be a chore. And once it's a chore, you just won't do it. We put a slider in the back of the pickup truck, and we use weather-tight boxes for our overstock clothes. This trip, we took warm clothes and cool climate, or warm climate clothes. And so far, it's worked out well.
Covered for every scenario.
Yes, yeah. We pack what we think we're going to wear, in the region that we're in the trailer, but we have what we call overstock boxes. That's our cool stuff, which we had to pull out a little sooner than we thought. But you have enough to cover your bases, like Jim said. And we used to carry a lot of groceries in our trailer, thinking we brought them from home, thinking we'll cook along the way, which we do. But then we discovered, most of the places we go, you're going to be close to a grocery.
Yeah, lots of places have those.
Yeah.
So you don't have to carry as much as you think.
Right.
You carry what you really need along the way and try to cover all your bases, look ahead. We're the type of campers who like to make as many of our reservations as we can ahead. I know a lot of people don't feel the need to do that, and if it works for you, that's what you need to do.
Okay, perfect. Good advice. Good advice.
There's a saying we learned, and there's a different shoe for every foot. So what we do may not even be close to what makes y'all happy.
Yeah.
So,
And
but feel free to reach out to us through Linda, and we'll be happy to help you any way we can.
And I think one of the great things about this rally is, especially yesterday evening at the Mix and Mingle, we visited with other campers, escape owners, which was nice. But to find out where they travel to, oh my gosh, now we have a much longer bucket list than we had originally. But to find out where they travel and where are good things, but how they travel, So there were a lot of people said, we just kind of wing it as we go. And we said, that's great.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily do that, but I can see where we do make changes on the fly as we need to. But it's just such a great thing. And when we bought the motorhome, we had someone who advised us to really sit down and think about what you want your experience to look like, and then configure your trailer and configure your process to meet that goal. So kind of think ahead of time what you think you want to do. We have some friends who just bought a 21, and they are boondockers. They enjoy the boondock experience.
Okay.
We don't boondock a lot.
Not so much.
Not so much, but
It's good to be prepared for that, just in case. Like, you mean even the campground may have no power for whatever reason, right? It's nice to have your bases covered and be prepared for
whatever comes along.
Yeah, exactly. And like with the 23, it's got the
solar panels
and the 3,000 watt inverter and the lithium batteries. So I mean, you're set.
The big thing that the 23 has that we like is the large capacity tanks. That makes a big difference.
Home run for you.
That's a big home run.
Yeah, that was a big change, like from one model to the other. But the 23 definitely covers that.
Yeah.
And we tow with a Ford F-150, and we've been, like we said, from Houston, Texas, up over the mountains here, and haven't had an issue. It tows like a dream.
Yeah, we were a little concerned,
worried about
whether
that.
or not we needed to bump up and have a
bigger truck.
Bigger truck.
You don't need that.
But it's been great. We haven't had any problems at all, and
looking around the rally, there are very, very few 3/4 ton trucks. Just about everybody is 1/2 ton or smaller, depending upon which model Escape they have.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this trailer is that you don't have the maintenance that you would have. I mean, we had a motorhome with 4 slides, and while it was a great motorhome, you still have slides, and you have to put them in and take them out, although it's all automated, but it's a different experience, and this is so nice. In fact, we were saying if we were ever going to step up and go back to any kind of drivable RV, I would have one with no slides.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they fail.
Well, it's a matter of when, not a matter of if. They're going to fail.
And you don't spend your time in maintenance, you spend your time in having fun.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all about.
And Sharon has a butler. That's me. So that makes life a lot easier.
My granddaughter calls him the butler. I'm Queen Mom, but he is
I'm the butler.
I know. I absolutely love it. So awesome. So you were telling me earlier that you have named each one of your Escapes, each one of your RVs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really fun. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like share a little bit more about that with our viewers?
Yeah, we started with our 2013 5.0, what was it, single axle then. And of course, we're from Texas, and you know what they say about Texas people being proud of their state. So we named it the Texas Compass Rose. And we had a graphic made for the front of it, and it said Texas Rose, and it had the compass in the middle of it.
This compass in the middle.
It's the same compass graphic that we've used. We always have business cards made, and sometimes we have T-shirts made. But
We tends to be a very big word. Sometimes it's
Anyway, so we made the graphic and we put the compass on it because we're travelers. And then our second trailer was our 2016 tandem axle was the Black Pearl because that was when, the
Pirates of the Caribbean
And
was
what-
all the rage.
And so we had the same compass. We always put something different in the middle.
Okay.
And so we had a different graphic in the middle for that trailer. Our motorhome, we had the same graphic, but it was the next evolution because it was a different evolution in our lifestyle. And then when we went to the 21, that trailer we named Gudrid, the Far Traveler.
The reason for that.
Yeah, I found out I had my ancestry was Norwegian and Swedish, and I called myself the Viking princess. Yeah,
Warrior
That's her.
Gudrid was an actual person who did the in with Leif Erikson, went from Norway and Iceland and Greenland to U.S. and back again.
All the way to Rome.
Several times. Yes, she actually went to Rome to meet
Good
Pope
golly.
at one point. So they called her the Far Traveler. So that trailer was the Far Traveler. And but we don't like to use the names twice.
Right.
So this one we call the Hotel California because we're living it up in the Hotel California and we're big Eagles fans.
That's awesome. That is absolutely.
So it's the same compass.
Same thing.
In fact, we've just moved. When we moved into our new house, we have this wall in our dining room that we can't figure out what we're going to do with it. It's a big wall. And we finally decided, I don't know, a couple of months ago, we're going to put a compass of some sort in the middle of that wall and then take pictures of our destinations. And,
that's
the
wonderful.
northern ones, the eastern ones, the western ones. And
And everything in between.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so cool. I love that. I love that tradition that you have. And then for the rally too, you have t-shirts, different
For every
t-shirts
day.
for every day, right?
right.
And we'll show them photos of the t-shirts that you had on yesterday with your road map.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were pretty cool. I absolutely love those. Those were awesome. So.
Well, if you ask real nice, we can have another one made and sent to you.
So yeah, we enjoy the experience.
Very
We're
much.
going to go over the top.
And this is your first rally.
This is our
First rally ever.
And what do you think so far?
Oh, it's been wonderful. It's
Awesome.
been wonderful. I mean, we're flatlanders, beautiful location, with the mountains and the water and really visiting with all the owners and getting ideas. We've already got some things to work on when we get home.
We. Here's that butler thing again.
And my handyman, sometimes I call him, we live close to NASA, and they call them steely-eyed missile men, the ones who put the rockets up, and so I call him my steely-eyed handyman.
Just so everybody knows, my degree was in industrial arts, and I taught wood shop and machine shop. So she has taken unfair advantage of that.
I'm sure you've been handsomely compensated.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we can't talk about that. This is the family show.
Yeah, but we have gotten great ideas. I'll just have modifications to do. Not too many, but a couple. Yeah.
Well, from a personal point of view, I'm so happy to have you here after working with you, those 2 times and knowing you for these few years. So
Great.
so excited to have you here.
Yeah, we were
We
excited
wouldn't
to
miss
be
it.
here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed this video with Jim and Sharon, and I hope you have some take backs from it. And we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.